Hi, I'm Steve Reddick. I'm with Pacesetter Sales and Associates, and today I'd like to introduce you to the Evolution S28 Portable Magnetic Drilling Unit. This unit, as you can see, just turned the magnet off, is basically 26.5 pounds. So very lightweight, very portable. Beautiful thing about portable mag units is that you can drill horizontally, you can drill vertically, and you can drill overhead. Today I'm just going to do a horizontal hole for you. And the beautiful thing about this particular unit is its power to weight ratio. The motor mounted to the magnetic unit is a 10 amp motor. Once I engage the motor and I turn on the magnet, this particular unit has dual magnets in the bottom here. So that's for deep and shallow penetration of the material. One thing about magnets that people are commonly mistaken about is that they think that thinner gauge material a magnet will hold. But this particular unit, you need a minimum of 3/8 inch plate in order to hold onto it. 2,860 pounds of magnetic adhesion. The thicker the steel, the deeper, and the magnets will go deep and go shallow. That's how they work, basically. So I'm just going to turn it on right now. You can also see that the motor is mounted to the magnetic unit. Like I said, 10 amp motor. This thing has exactly 11.5 inches of what they call travel. So the unit will travel from the workpiece to the top of the actual shank, 11.5 inches. And the reason for that is that when you're cutting holes in structural steel, whether it's plate or tubing, you can use annular cutters, which is commonly used in the market, or this particular unit comes with a 1/2 inch chuck that will take 1/2 inch capacity drill bits. The capacity on the annular cutters for the Mag S28 is 1 1/8 inch. There's also an S42 that goes up to 1 5/8. So it really depends on the size and the diameter of the hole that you're drilling. Today I'm going to cut a hole, and what I've got here is about 1/2 inch 4140 steel, and I'm using a 13/16 annular cutter. Now the interesting thing about the cutters themselves, they come with a pilot pin. You basically mount them in here. So if I take this Allen key and just show you that in order to set it in, you'll see here that the actual cutter has 2 flats on it, and there we go. Now I've got some coolant coming down there, but the 2 flats go up into the shank, and then you just tighten as needed. Now you can also, like I say, you can use a drill bit on that as well, depending on the diameter of the holes that you're looking to cut. I'm just going to tighten this up right now. There we go. And we're good. When I turn the unit on itself, it immediately goes to approximately 450 RPM. Now, that's regular no load speed. The minute I start to engage in the steel, obviously the RPMs are going to fall back a bit. But what you do when you're cutting holes in steel is you just maintain a consistent pressure and feed rate all the way through till you've drilled the hole. Nice thing about the pilot pin is that it allows you to exactly pinpoint where you want to drill that hole. So you make a marking, down you go. The other thing about this is when you put the annular cutter into the shank, there's an ejector pin, so you can see that there's a bit of pressure here. What that does is it allows you to flow coolant down into the internal part of the unit. And the nice thing about that is that in the industry, typically what you'll see is that people will use like a cutting stick on the outer edge, or they'll just spray into it. But the majority of the heat on an annular cutter comes on the internal surface. So with this system, the S28, you got coolant running down through the inside here and cooling the internal part of the cutter, which gives you longer tooling life. And the other thing about cutters is that they can be resharpened and retipped. So depending on usage, you might be able to resharpen this 3 or 4 times. These also come in 1 and 2 inch length, just so you know. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut a hole. So let's have some fun. Just gonna back this off a little bit, make sure we're good. Just gonna back her off a notch. Gonna engage right now, and away we go. We're gonna start cutting. As I cut, I'm gonna have consistent pressure. You can see the smoke in the bird's nest, that's just normal. Consistent feed rate all the way through. Right to the point where the slug ejects. This is totally common in the industry. It's called a bird's nest. Be very careful. This is hot. The other thing is that when you cut a hole with an annular cutter, if you take a quick look, you can see it's such a beautifully concentric hole. And the nice part about it is the ejector pin also acts as a functionality that once this slug gets to about a 32nd of an inch, the ejector pin pops it out. Now just be careful because this is hot when it comes out, so you don't want to handle it. This is the Evolution Mag S28 drilling unit. Power to weight ratio, better than none in the industry. And I'll tell you right now, this is one of the best units I've ever cut holes with. And these tools, all Evolution power tools, come with a 3-year warranty. And that's whether it's their magnetic drilling units, their chop saws, or their circular saws.